Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 249. Jack Smith gets caught again. Good morning, everyone. That's right. Episode 249. So tomorrow will be my 250th episode. Wow. Okay. Should have not have taken that break a couple years ago, but that's right. We're almost there. 250. Wow. So I'm going to have to work extra hard on that one for tomorrow's show. Just one thing to be aware of. If you have been listening over the last couple of days, man, the sound on my podcast was atrocious. And I'm just saying if you see anything that's weird sounding in my podcast, let me know. As we call in the Army, when you establish a defensive position, you're always doing side improvement. Well, I replaced a major gap in my defense yesterday. I put a brand new microphone in that I had for when I put my new studio together. Actually, I had to use part of it. I'm going to lift it up. One of those blue mics. So what was wrong with it was the connection on the bottom of the other mic somehow became separated, and it was connecting the metal to metal, and that's what was causing that sound. So I got it fixed. I cannot believe it. I must have worked about 4 hours yesterday on that thing, to exchanging cables out and rearranging the mic, and it just came to me and says, James, replace the microphone. So I opened up the box, put the new one in, and it worked like a charm. Okay, but if it doesn't sound right, except for my raspy voice, put something in the live chat for me. Okay, I appreciate it. If you look over in the hard comments section, right, there's a link in there from Senator Grassley's Senate website, and it is the link to the 197 subpoenas that we're going to talk just a little bit about in just a little while. The 197 subpoenas against Republicans that he went on a fishing expedition against an unwarranted man. But we'll get into that in just a few minutes. Okay, fix that. And let's see. Welcome to the JP8 Report. If you are not already a follower of the JP8 Report, please click that follow button right now, and then give us a thumbs up on the. It gives a thumbs up on by clicking that like button, and then please repost and share the podcast. All right. Now for America 250. So, on this day in 1775, I'm just going to read something from the Second Continental Congress, and they established a revised committee to further establish and organize the Navy, right? So, this is from their journal. The committee appointed to prepare an estimate and brought forth in their report, which was considered resolved that a committee of 7 with a quorum of 4 to be added to the committee of 3 to consider fitting out armed vessels for the protection and defense of the United Colonies, as the Congress shall direct. The members chosen: Stephen Hopkins, Joseph Hughes, Richard Henry Lee, and John Adams. The Convention of New Jersey recommended field officers to command 2 battalions raising in that colony, and that this to be taken into consideration tomorrow. A letter from Walter Livingston, 18th of October was read and ordered to lie on the table to be considered tomorrow, and they adjourned at 10 o'clock. Adjourned till 10 o'clock tomorrow. So there's a new committee of 7 people directed to further establishing armed ships for the Continental Navy, right? And one of them is John Adams, which is what is it? It's pretty cool that this happened today in American history, right? And on the same day, it was John Adams' birthday. John Adams, the second president of the United States, was born in Braintree, Massachusetts in 1735. So the day was his 40th birthday in 1775, and he was named to a committee to help arm the brand new Continental Navy. And I'm going to read one quote from him. "There is a danger from all men. The only maximum of a free government ought to be to trust no man living with power to endanger the public liberty." And that was from John Adams. All right, so as we move forward to the JP8 report, all right, we have the Dalmatian Texas burgers. They're homemade smash burgers and dogs in Coppers Cove, Texas. All their ingredients are homemade, including their buns. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2 and 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out early. And they're located at Town Square behind bushes on the west side of Coppers Cove. And I personally recommend the Armadillo Burger. So I really, really highly recommend these guys because they're really good. All right. So if you're on the west side, if you are in Killeen, and you live in Passus, Gatesville, or Coppers Cove, just go to. We only got one Bush's Chicken in Coppers Cove. Go to where it's at and go to the back of the shopping center. And there you got it. All right. I'll put that over here. And so next is, oh yeah, Arctic frost. Let me advance this, and then we'll pick up this guy right here. There's going to be a little bit of reading, okay? So, Arctic frost. We'll go with a little bit of summary. Up to 400 Republicans, including Laura Trump, was being investigated by Jack Smith. And that would be from Christopher Wray, the former FBI director, Lisa Monaco, the former Deputy Attorney General, and Merrick Garland, the former Attorney General. All right. There's Senator Grassley, which I was telling you about just a few minutes ago, by the link into his Senate website that he published to everyone yesterday, contains a file of the subpoenas for 197 people plus organizations, 1,730 pages. That thing is 80 megabytes because I downloaded it onto my laptop last night and printed off some papers, right? And the whole thing has been referred to the Department of Justice. So Pam Bondi has it now, and we're going to see this thing fly. Okay, so this came from the nationalpulse.com. A newly released internal document reviewed by the House Judiciary Committee reveals that more than 160 Republicans may have been subjects to the Arctic frost probe conducted by the FBI under the Biden-Harris regime. The hundreds of pages of material suggests the investigation initiated by then FBI Director Christopher Wray and later overseen by Special Counsel Jack Smith was far broader than previously disclosed. The documents show that 45 individuals were potentially under investigation, including figures such as War Room host Stephen Bannon, Representative Scott Perry, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and former DOJ Jeffrey Clark, Trump attorney John Eastman, and former Republican Congressman Mark Meadows. The additional 111 individuals were flagged, including Trump trade advisor Peter Navarro, senior advisor Dan Scavino, former the senior advisor, former DOJ official Jeff Rosen, and current DOJ official Ed Martin. President Donald J. Trump reacted to new revelations on Truth Social, saying these thugs should be investigated and put in prison. A disgrace to humanity, deranged Jack Smith is a criminal. The material shed light on internal FBI terminology. Agents used threat tags in their files such as fraud, corrupt, P corrupt _ camp. They also reference a 2020 tactical intelligence report. I would love to find that report. Emails from May 2020 show FBI offices working under Arctic frost label. Sorry about that. While another asked for about $16,600 from the Public Corruption Unit for travel to conduct more than 40 interviews, serve subpoenas, and execute several cellular device search warrants. A September 22nd subpoena identified dozens of Republican-linked activists, public officials, electors, and government employees tied to the 2020 elections aftermath. Just one real quick thing. These are some of the people, I've showed this before. These are the senators and the congressmen that was identified for their cellular devices being searched, right? Along with other Republican senators. You had Congressman Mike Kelly, Senators Lindsey Graham, Bill Hagerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, and Marsha Blackburn. And then you have also Ted Cruz, but the cell company that held his records pushed back, and Smith dropped his probe on that. So, news sources added that the top officials personally approved the investigation. A memo released by Senator Chuck Grassley shows then Attorney General Merrick Garland, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, and Wray signed off on opening Arctic frost, which I just showed you that memo, right? The probe reportedly involved tracking several GOP senators, private communications, and phone call metadata. In one disclosure, the FBI confirmed that 10 Republican lawmakers had their phone records analyzed for date, time, location of calls during the week of January 6, though not the content of the calls. In a related development, FBI disbanded the CR-15 squad, a Washington field office public corruption unit linked to Arctic frost, and fired the agents involved after revelations that the unit tracked the communications of GOP senators FBI Director Kash Patel said the Bureau is cleaning up a diseased temple, removing those weaponized law enforcement officers for political purposes. That's a serious matter. I mean, you're going to see in just a second. I got 8 documents on here that I'm going to actually show y'all, and you see how devious these people are that was involved in this investigation with Jack Smith. Okay, I got them all here. All right, so just bear with me because you will be floored at some of this stuff, unless you already got a heads up of what is being produced in the media also. So on this page right here, requested documents from from a company called Conservative Partnership, and they're looking for stuff on Save America Joint Fundraising Committee, Trump Make America Great Again Committee, Make America Great Again PAC, Donald J. Trump for President Inc., American Voting Rights Foundation, Cyber Ninjas, Stratch LLC, Cypher LLC, Scott Sigmund Esquire, Michael Roman, Stephen Miller, that's a guy you never ever want to cross, Cleta Mitchell, Christina Bobb, Thomas Datweiler, and or any member of the Arizona State Senate and or any affiliate thereafter. All right. So I'm going to flip to the next page. So if you go down to paragraph D, for the period from October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2022, which spans 2 years, all documents and communication relating to one or more of Save America Joint Committee, Make America Great PAC, Donald J. Trump for President, Trump Make America Great Again, the American Voting Rights Foundation, Cyber Ninjas, and so forth, right? What they want is documents and communications related to use of money received by one or more of the other previous mentioned groups. And document number 2 is documents and communication related to the work and or done on behalf of said companies. And then documents and communications related to bills to be paid for or paid either directly or indirectly by said groups, and so forth. Okay. Next. To Bank of America. How many people out here use Bank of America, right? Let me flip to my page so I'm up to date on where I'm at. Okay, there we go. I use Bank of America with my business. A lot of people use, this is what they told them, all right? Bank of America, pursuant to a criminal investigation being conducted by the United States Attorney's Office, it is required that you furnish the requested records as described in the attached subpoena. I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me. In lieu of personally appearing before the grand jury on the date indicated, you may comply with this grand jury subpoena by promptly providing the agent designated in the attachment with the requested record. If you choose to provide requested records voluntarily, please provide them in non-proprietary electronic format via FedEx, UPS, or DHL. Also, enclosed, please find a blank declaration of custodial records form. It may save time and cost if an appropriate person in your business could complete the form and return it with their records. These people were investigating people in search of a crime. Now, you're supposed to take a crime and find a person. All right? Please note that under the Act, the Department of Justice will not reimburse expenses incurred when the request for records relating to accounts of corporations, partnerships of more than 5 partners, associations, trusts, government agencies, and legal entities. So they want these records, but they won't reimburse you for the cost of finding such records. Right? Next page. If I can get the pages separated. I know I got the slide up, but let's see. Transition to the next one. We're still Bank of America. No reimbursement will be made without full and complete itemized statement of all costs bearing your taxpayer ID number, completed OBD 211 form, and a copy of the subpoena. Okay, this is the paragraph I want to read y'all. All right. Disclosure by you or anyone affiliated with your institution of the existence of the subpoena or the items requested by it may constitute a criminal offense punishable by imprisonment for up to 5 years. How in the world can you issue a subpoena on somebody and the person that you have that has a subpoena issued on them is a violation of their constitutional rights to know that they're under investigation? That is the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution. And the fact is, they were executing search warrants on people, and people did not know search warrants were being issued against them. That violates their Fourth Amendment right, their Fifth Amendment right, I believe their Sixth Amendment right, and I believe their Eighth Amendment right. I believe, if I'm correct on those. Search and seizure, right, your Fifth Amendment right of self-incrimination, speedy trial, and trial among your peers. But in everything constituted in that, the person that's under investigation must know that they're being investigated on. And the fact that the FBI was threatening these companies that they couldn't even say anything about it. Like, hey, Miss Blackburn, Senator Blackburn, I would like to let you know that your cell phone records were requested by the FBI from October to September, October 20 to September 22. Just so you know, if they said that to her, they would be arrested for doing that. Where's our United States Constitution in all this? There needs to be serious reforms made. And Kash Patel said he's all over it. So that is crazy that even is transpiring. And then, let's see. Back here, the subpoena date was listed for October 11th, 2022, because that's outside the September window that they gave. And then, let's see. I'm going somewhere with this. Oh. So, the next page, if you look down here, it says grand jury subpoena on it. And the request is Maria Vinto, she's the FBI agent. Do not proceed with compliance if the total cost will exceed $200 without prior approval. Next. There's 2 slides left. This one and then the last one. Okay. This is the some of the stuff that they were looking for on the checking accounts of people. This person, they're looking for information on John David McEntee, and they want to know his signature cards, copies of the signature cards, opening the account. They want to know your KYC's know your customer reports, corporate board authorization minutes, bank statements, negotiated canceled checks, front and back, negotiated purchase cashier's checks, deposit slips, items deposited, wire transfers, EFTs, ACH payment support, electronic payments, support for bank transfers from other accounts, including full bank account numbers of accounts receiving or sending funds to and from accounts held by the named parties. All right. Like I said, Fourth Amendment, all day long, right? This is crazy that this was even tolerated to happen through the Congress. All right. The hatred of Donald Trump was so immense, they tried to throw an innocent man in jail and try to take up to 400 other Republicans with him, right? So that's so far what we got on the continuation of Arctic frost. I'm sure there's going to be more to come on that one. Then last night while we were all sleeping, well, most of us were sleeping because I was up to midnight fixing my mic problem. Then I had to do my outline for the podcast this morning. President Trump and President Xi from China, Xi Jinping, met in South Korea, in Busan, right? They didn't allow any press. They didn't give a press conference at the end of it. But when I got up this morning to do my final review, they made further agreement that China would start buying soybeans from Americans again. And then there's an agreement on at least a 1-year agreement on the production of chemicals that are used to make fentanyl. And there was one other thing. I can't remember what the third thing was. Oh, man, I'm sorry, guys. But the president is the heir on his way back to the United States. And Xi Jinping was supposed to stay in Busan for some additional talks with the APAC conference, all right? So the boss is on his way back to the United States in the midst of a big government shutdown. Under the Department of War related effort, President Trump did release yesterday that effective immediately, the United States will restart testing our nuclear warheads, right? And that is only on a 1-for-1 basis. So if one of our adversaries tests a nuclear warhead, we will reciprocate in kind and test one of ours. It's good to test them anyway because armaments do deteriorate after a while. And it's been 33 years since we've conducted a nuclear test. And all of our tests are conducted underground in Nevada in a very secure environment, right? So you don't have to worry about seeing big, huge mushroom cloud go up and stuff. It doesn't work like that anymore. Let's see. Next, government shutdown. This is day 30th of the Schumer shutdown. They're supposed to have a 14th vote today. I don't know if the president will be back in time for it. I'm pretty sure he's got a long flight ahead of him. But yeah, the 14th vote is going to be handled today, and they're not expected to reach cloture, so the shutdown continues. SNAP benefits will end by Saturday, which is November 1st, right? Most employees were not paid on Tuesday, and I checked yesterday because I have a son-in-law that's in the military, and he uses USA. USA does their ACH deposits 2 days prior to payday, and he had nothing pending for deposit from the federal government at all. So my son-in-law, the United States Army, he's a sergeant, and he's going to have to work without pay and support my youngest daughter. I'm so grateful that my daughter Rose is an EMT, and I believe she's almost EMT advanced. So they do got money coming in, so they are an exception of policy. But there are some military families, the soldier's the only breadwinner in the family, right? So this has got to end. This has got to end quickly. 42 million people are on SNAP, including a lot of military families. They get SNAP also. There's 37,000 VA employees that are on furlough. I talked to a friend of mine that works for the VA. He said he's still working, and he couldn't tell me if he got paid or not. I guess he doesn't work the books in his house. His wife does, and I didn't ask her. I didn't want to get that far into it, okay? The GOP is getting frustrated. Most people in the United States are frustrated. They want to get this done with. And, you know, it looks like the Democrats are just pushing the Republicans and get them to capitulate. Let me float one more idea. What if they're purposely doing this? And you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, right? What if the Democrats are purposely doing this to get the Republicans to change the Senate rules to eliminate the filibuster? That is a distinct possibility that they're just holding back until the Republicans change the rules. So when they eventually take power one day, they have full force of the Senate to do simple majorities on everything instead of doing the 60 vote threshold. That would be crazy. I would say, even though a lot of us don't like the filibuster because of what it does, but it does protect the minority from the tyranny of the majority. But it serves a specific purpose out there, right? Let me do something here. Okay, I wanted to check my stuff that's going on here. Nope, not yet. Okay, I'm back. So I could be wrong. No one's chimed in, so no comments. Okay, cool. So forward on. And then before I go to my next subject, and then the next shoe to drop will be Monday, besides people not getting paid, which is extremely important. Early next week, the EPA will be fully out of money. So they won't be able to enforce the environmental laws in the United States because they will be broke, right? Um, Last night there was a TPUSA event at Ole Miss, right? Erica Kirk was there in her only appearance at a Turning Point USA event this year because everything that happened and stuff. Um, and the vice president there, VP, was awesome. I mean, I heard some of this morning. Um, he actually, you know how Charlie Kirk would have his chair, he sat down, and people would come up to a microphone and just ask questions, right? And Charlie Kirk would answer them. The vice president did the same thing last night, unscripted, right? People were walking up to a microphone. This is my question, and blindly asked a question of the vice president, and the vice president blindly gave answers back to said questionnaire. Unbelievable. Normally, in that environment, you make sure you don't get those gotcha type questions. He answered every single one of them, and from what I saw, he acted just like Charlie Kirk did. That was really cool. That was hats off. It was a really, really, really good thing. Uh, some of the notes I made was that 7,000 people were there to watch it. A lot of them in the pouring down rain hours before, because you had to go through security to be able to get. Even though it's the vice president, you are not going to get through without being checked. Uh, so one of the things that Erica Kirk said last night was it was important, like Charlie Kirk was saying, it is important to be an advocate for America. And that's one of the things that he was trying to show through Turning Point was advocate for America, advocate for freedom, right? There was a guy from Illinois State from another Turning Point event that was there. The guy's name is Derek Lopez. He got fired from Illinois State for vandalizing a TP USA table, and everybody saw it. It was on TV because they were videoing it. He walked up, started yelling at them, and flipped their table. And the guy was an employee of the college. Well, he's unemployed now. So, the Federal Reserve yesterday voted 10-2 to cut interest rates by only 0.25%. Jerome, too late to the show, Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, said there was instability in the labor market, and that's the reason why they only recommended 0.25% reduction. Stephen, I got his name here, Stephen Mayor, he was just confirmed by the United States Senate last month. He voted no to rate cut because he wanted a 0.5 point cut, not a 0.25 point cut. And the other guy that voted no, I didn't write his name because he didn't matter, but he didn't want to cut at all. I guess he's one of those Jerome Powell guys. An aide to look, I'll reiterate just the same thing as the president was saying. We need a big cut in interest rates. That's the only way you're going to fully fund the economy, is getting it kick-started, and a good cut in interest rates will do that. An aide to Massachusetts Governor Mauro Healey was busted, and additionally he was fired for sending 8 kilograms, right, of cocaine to a state office building. His name is Lamar Cook. He got fired for trafficking 200 grams of cocaine, had a firearm, an unlicensed firearm, and he had ammunition on him. State laws in Maine, state laws in several other states, including Massachusetts, are different from laws here in Texas, right? But uh, you know, he was arrested in state court. It looks like, but he was arrested with drugs on him. So if commission a crime with a weapon, uh, I guess that becomes a felony. Matter of fact, it does. So there's a job opening in Massachusetts if you need one. If you want to work for the governor up there, she's Democrat. Remember that. Ex-Biden spokesman said he only saw Joe Biden 2 times in 2 years, and he was a spokesman for Joe Biden, a President Autopin, and he said both times that he remembered seeing him in 2 years. That's 720 days that he was sharp both times. But he only had a brief interaction with Joe Biden twice in 2 years. He needs to be re-questioned. Let me get a drink of water here. Okay. James Comey, he was challenged for disbarment in New York and Virginia for being indicted federally. So now he's going to probably go to jail, maybe, and but he won't be able to practice law at all. Right? The New Jersey Attorney General doesn't want federal election monitors in polling places. All right. Wonder why? This is a very heated governor's race in New Jersey, really tight, and you just saw the stuff on Arctic frost that I was just talking about. Now he doesn't want election monitors. What are they trying to hide, right? And I bet the same thing's going on in Virginia too. So it's election day is less than a week away, guys, in New Jersey and in Virginia and in New York City. So that's your get out the vote campaign needs to be hot and heavy right now, right? Yesterday morning when I was waking up, I forgot to put this in my podcast yesterday, but Trump did say, and I heard it on the news last night, he can't run for a third term. So all these people out there said Trump's going to run for a third term. They have no idea what they're talking about. Speaker of the House said he can't. I believe John Thune said he can't. The president said he can't. But you got people like Steve Bannon out there saying the president's going to run for a third term. He can't, and he acknowledged that he can't also. His 22nd Amendment of the United States Constitution says you can't. But the ticket that's being talked about right now, and I know it's way too early, would be J.D. Vance as president and Marco Rubio as vice president. That would be a really good ticket for president and vice president. I think the president's doing a lot of this stuff just to taunt the Democrats with it. It's hilarious. I need to get one of those Trump 2028 hats. I really need to do. Man, that is something else. His granddaughter, I forgot to put this out yesterday, his granddaughter got an exemption so she can play on the LPGA tour, and I forgot what the name of the tournament she's going to be in, but I think it's this coming weekend, I think it is. But Kai Trump is going to get to play with the LPGA, and from what I've seen with her playing golf on TV, she can play. Now we're down to voting in Texas. Okay, so Texas local politics. No live chat yet. Okay. Turnout as of the night of the 28th, because we're one day delayed on stuff, right? Because they have like till 10 o'clock this morning to get the information in on the 29th, right? So we're on the evening of the 28th. The turnout in Texas for this election is 4.11%. And here in Coryell County, it's at 5.57% to include 2,504 voters. I have voted Monday through Friday, and Monday and Tuesday are the early vote dates so far in Coryell County, right? A long way to go. The presidential election was a lot harder than that, but this is, I know, off session and then off term, or however you want to, off cycle, right? And then let's see. I talked to the Texas Ethics Commission yesterday, and then I found some information out about a PAC. Did you know that if you're a licensed PAC in Texas, you cannot legally change the name of your PAC unless you have permission by the state of Texas? And also, if you are a PAC, you have to be registered in the state of Texas. And also, if you are said PAC, you cannot use the name of another PAC to back you up unless it's registered under law. So I got to check on some stuff about a PAC I've been doing some research on. But if you are an SPAC, which is a specialty PAC, right, which means you're very specific on what you're doing with that PAC, right? Why would a contractor involved in work with said government entity be able to give a multi-$1,000 contribution to the promotion of said bond when it looks like they can actually profit from the passage of that bond? So that's some of the stuff that I'm going to find out this morning. All right. Any other comments, concerns, gripes, moans, complaints? Let's see. I don't see any live chats. We're up to 4. I saw 6 on there. Okay. So that's that right there. So if you want to find me on my socials, I'm on X at James Pierce Jr. I'm on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. And you can send me an email at jp8report@gmail.com. All right, I'm going to check one thing, give you all a little bit of an update on, let's see. I'm going to click over to X real quick. Maybe. Oh, there we go. I can't wait to get this studio. So this computer I'm doing my broadcast on only has 8 gig RAM on it, right? And the computer I bought, it's got 64 gig RAM on it. Okay, it shows that I'm live, all right, which is good. I want to give myself a heart, which is cool. So remember, I'm on X at James Pierce Jr., right? So that's where I'm live also. That is cool. And if you are willing to do so, okay, let me get back to, I can look at myself talk. All right. And if you are willing to do so for me, go over to the YouTube and look up the JP8 report, the JP8 report 67, right? That's my YouTube handle, right? And just subscribe to it, because I want to try to push my live out through YouTube also. Remember, Rumble is my priority no matter what, right? But if I can get the word out through YouTube, I'll push it that way also, right? So go to it's called the JP8 Report 67, and subscribe so I can get over 50 subscribers so I'm able to do live podcasts, okay? Or stream live, because I'm not going to initiate from YouTube at all. Not one iota. All right, so thank you very much for tuning in today. We've survived 50 minutes with the JP8 report. Some really cool stuff that I actually put out this morning. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to click that follow button, give me a like, and repost the podcast, all right? So this is James Pierce with the JPA Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.